Hi, this is Gillen McAllister for GRTV. We're in the rather spiffing Bloomsbury Hotel in London, and we're here today with Edward Stern. Edward? Ed?
Either.
Just not BongoBoy then.
Here's the deal. So,
explain this first.
In my 20s, I was in a clan. I needed a name. I thought, hey, BongoBoy, I play the bongos. It'll be hilarious. Fast forward to creepy, plump, middle-aged man claiming to be called Boy. Choose your player name in haste. Repent at leisure for the rest of your career.
But here's your excuse, because today we're here to see Brink.
Brink, I tell you, Brink.
Tell us about Brink.
Brink is a new first-person shooter. It's coming out in May 20th, 2011 in Europe. It's a new first-person shooter coming from we're Splash Damage. We're making it in London, being published by Bethesda. Yes, indeed. So we've got a background in PC hardcore first-person shooters, which is great up to a point, but the world really doesn't need any PC hardcore only first-person shooters. But everything's changed so much in the last 5 years. Consoles are now pretty much at parity with the PC, which is brilliant news. But it's been kind of weird for console gamers to be saying, hey, co-op's really good fun. We know! We've been trying to tell you for years, multiplayer is awesome. But there's been a lot of problems going from one to the other. I mean, I think we've all had the experience of playing a single-player version of a game, and it's great, and you really enjoy it, and then you go online and play the multiplayer, and it's totally different. Also, the graphics quality drops, and you've gone from, I've got lots of unlocks and kind of cool, customization, and suddenly I get to choose between 6 player models. So the whole point of Brink is to just get rid of the difference, scrub the difference between single player and co-op and multiplayer. It's all the same thing. So it's always 8v8, it's always one team attacking, one team defending with these linear objectives, because that's the coolest, most replayable gameplay within this kind of infinite replay value. Our first game, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, is 8 years old, it's still in the top 10 most played online games, and it's had over 500 million matches played, because no two of them are the same. It's not like, I turn the corner and a guy comes out a door and he throws a grenade at me. Every single time. None of it's scripted, it's always really unpredictable, whether it's AI players or, of course, human players. You can play the whole game offline. No internet connection whatsoever. It will just, you play through both storylines. Resistance, here we have a fine Resistance gentleman with his flaming Molotov cocktail, or the security storyline. And it's not obvious kind of good v evil. It's not kind of hero cops, evil terrorists. It's not heroic heroic freedom fighters against evil stormtroopers, because that's boring, and we've seen it done. Instead, the choice between right and wrong is boring. The choice between right and right has something rather more interesting.
All right.
But you don't have to be into the story, because I know lots of gamers aren't. You can skip all of our cutscenes. You can just run around and shoot people in the face. That's absolutely fine. So we know that the most fun we've had as gamers, and the worst fun we've had as gamers, has been online. So we want to unlock all the stuff that's cool about multiplayer and make it easy for players to get into, and get rid of all the annoying and irritating stuff. So for instance, VoIP defaults to friends list only. I do not understand why more games don't do this. So if 12-year-olds want to scream abuse at them, that's absolutely fine, but you don't need to listen to them. Also, another problem with online games is players spend a lot of time dead, which means you're not playing the game. It sounds kind of obvious, I know. So grenade spam, which is like playing a game of chess, and you just, before you play, right, let's just take some players off the board, and there's nothing they can do about it. Anything that isn't down to player skill is unfair. So we don't have airstrikes, we don't have those kind of kill streaks, because there's nothing you can do to counter that. I don't mind dying in a game as long as I know what killed me and what I could have done to avoid it. So for example, as you saw in the game, we've got grenades, but they're on a timer. You can't spam them all the time, and they don't do that much damage. What they do is knock you down, that makes you vulnerable. So you throw a grenade at me, I get knocked down, you could come up and you can melee me, you could kill me, but I can still fire at you. I mean, I'm not as accurate because I've taken one hand off the weapon. I'm not out the game completely. We don't really have any sniping in the game. We certainly do have very accurate rifles that do a lot of damage, but there are no one-shot guaranteed kills. If I've already had some damage, if my health is, I've only got half health, I might do it. The only one-shot kill in the game is if you choose to be the light body type, which has got much less health, and I get a headshot. That will kill me at maximum health, but I've chosen to do that. Everything else, there's something I can do about it. I'm like, okay, I got knocked down, but I could have just gone around a corner and waited for my health to recharge. It's, there's always something I can do to affect the outcome.
Well, this sounds like you've basically cut down all the bad stuff. You've got mags in an FPS and online FPS, How do you think the community is going to respond? How do you think an audience is going to respond to this? Are they going to bow down before you and say, you are our saviours here? Or where's the sniping? Where's all this, that, now?
Well, certainly based on the shows that we've seen so far, we've had queues around the block, which is very, I know it's a kind of self-selecting audience, but I mean, the challenge for us is to have all of the stuff that makes it easier to play. And for example, the command wheel. The best way to get into a game is to have an expert player over your shoulder going, oh, go do that. And the clan players, they know all this, they know all the maps, they know the objectives, they know all the classes, but you shouldn't have to be an expert to play the game. So the game is expert. The game tells you, all you've got to do is hit up on the D-pad. It says, oh no, go over there. We even turn you to face where you need to go. Oh, that thing, okay. It doesn't matter how lost in the map you get, you always know where to go and what to do when you get there. Not coincidentally, the things that do the most benefit your team are the things we give you the most XP for. So if you try and exploit XP as much as you can, brilliant, you'll be doing things that benefit your team. We don't give that much XP for kills. Also, when you have the scoreboard at the end of the game, we rank it by XP, not by total number of kills. Because if you reward it by kills, that's all people do. You get medics who won't revive you, you get soldiers who won't give you ammo. If you give it by XP instead, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to give myself ammo. Oh, I didn't get any XP for that. Oh, but I got XP when I gave him ammo. Oh, he's giving me ammo back. Well, we both win. So that makes it easier to get to the fun bits. So if we make a game that's really easy to get into, if Brink, we do all this stuff to get people who don't think of themselves as shooter players or online players to get them into the game, but we sacrifice the depth, we'll have failed. So we've still got the kind of depth that means that you can carry on replaying it pretty much infinitely because there's always something else to do and there's a different gameplay experience. And that's not like, oh, no, I have a red hat, not a green hat. That's not a meaningfully different experience. There's no reason to replay a map just because you're wearing a different outfit. But if you're replaying the map because, oh, hang on, I've only played it from the resistance side, I haven't seen it from the security point of view. Oh, wait, there's a different story. For example, Container City, the map that you played, we played it from the security point of view. They go there, they get told there's a bioweapon, they've got to go secure it. You play it from the resistance point of view, they get told they're trying to steal our vaccine, you've got to stop them. Okay, so that's some storyline stuff. Maybe you don't care about storyline stuff. Fine. You go through the game, you level up, you unlock a different body type. Or you go back and think, okay, well, I played through that game, but I didn't do it as an engineer. I didn't do it as this particular class. Or unlock new abilities. These are meaningful differences. And there's a huge depth of gameplay there. We're basically taking this basic shooter gameplay, we're adding the smart movement system, which completely changes the way the play you game. I mean, I'm a fat bloke, but I can get over a wall that tall. It's crazy that I'm playing some kind of super fit commando and I can't somehow get over that wall. I've got to one point and climb with a specific animation.
Well, that's the smart mechanic.
Smooth movement across random terrain. Yes, indeed.
Thank God you remember that because I'm sitting there testing myself. But that's the whole idea. It's basically point in the direction of a wall and boom, you boom, boom, boom. You eradicate that problem of having to do that hop.
It's like, well, where do I go? Yeah. Where do I go in order to climb over this wall? If it looks like you should be able to get over it, you can do. We don't want players learning our interface or going, oh, where do I go to press this one button? We just want people playing the game. You can always tell when you see people look down at their controller, you think, oh, we've lost them, that's not good. What happens is people go, I go where? Oh, wow, I'm over it. And it's done. And like 10 seconds later, they go, oh, I see, this is simple, it's easy. And it keeps people playing the game, not thinking, oh, what does this game want me to do? So yeah, we've got the smart system, we've got this kind of MMORPG depth of player customization and weapon customization, and we've got this RPG depth of player abilities. So we're just nicking things from other genres, and grabbing them. That's what we do. Our first game, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. I was doing an interview for it, and someone, for Brink, and someone said, "Oh yeah, you did Wolf ET. That was the first shooter with XP, wasn't it?" It was like, that can't be right. That cannot be right. I'd very, very happily be corrected if it's not. So our XP used to be the defining feature of the RPG genre. Now you never do a shooter without it. And now, hopefully, we're doing a number of things that, with Brink, they're a back-of-the-box feature. Hopefully, in the future, you go, hang on, what? You're making a shooter, and the graphics quality drops and you go online? Why would you ever do that? That's crazy. Oh, you're making a shooter, but there's only a couple of abilities to unlock, and actually, there's no reason to replay those games year after year after year, because it's always going to offer something different. Why would you ever do that? Oh, you're doing a shooter, but you've only got a choice of a couple of different player models. And the graphics quality when you go online. Why would you ever do that? Oh, you're doing a shooter, but the single player and the multiplayer are totally different, and I have to quit out if a friend wants to play co-op with me. Why would you ever do that? There are a lot of very good games around. There are a lot of very good shooters around. We need to give players a reason to choose Brink rather than any of the other ones. We needed a reason to make Brink rather than any other. Like, why? We want to make a game we want to play. So here's a game. It doesn't look like any other shooter. It doesn't move like any other shooter. It shoots as well or better than any other shooter. And it's got the MMORPG customization, it's got the RPG ability tree, and it's got this kind of infinite replayability. I think even the most hard-pressed gamer will think there is something to Brink that I'm not going to get from another game.
Cool. I think that's us. Do you want to actually sign this one off? just say this is Eddie for GRTV.
This is Edward Stern for GRTV, coming at ya. Arr, arr, arr.
That's us, folks. Catch you next time.
It became the last promise of salvation on a dying planet. A promise for some